Quartermain, we've been expecting you.
How'd you know I was Dr. Quartermain?
Oh, the familial resemblance to your father, sir.
I don't look anything at all like my father.
Oh, you're mistaken, sir. You have all his best features. Oh, and forgive me for not introducing myself. Randall Thompson.
Oh, how do you do? Oh, you're my father's new secretary.
And executive assistant, sir.
Oh, really? Well, congratulations and good luck to you. Is my father in?
Yes, and he's been looking forward to your lunch. Shall I make a reservation?
No, don't bother. We're dining in. Pastrami, best in town. Meant to be consumed on desktops and behind closed doors.
Interesting.
And relaxing. You see, my father needs a chance to forget about business for a while.
Forget about business, nothing. Alan, when you get in here, we have some big problems to discuss.
What, again?
Yes, again.
Again. I'll see you later, Randall.
My pleasure, sir.
Do I really look like my father?
Actually, sir, I've glimpsed your photo on the society section of the paper numerous times.
You read the society section, do you?
I read the entire paper, Dr. Quartermain.
Yes, I'm sure you do. Where did you find him?
The agency sent him. Highly recommended, I might add.
Oh, yes, very sharp fellow.
He's a walking encyclopedia. Sit down, Alan.
You don't look too well. You look a little peaked, Dad. Are you all right?
Frankly, no. My stomach's been growling all morning.
Well, maybe the pastrami will help. I brought these
I'm
for
not
you.
really hungry. I feel like I'm on the verge of a heart attack, or at least a nervous breakdown. Who knows? Maybe both.
Certainly sounds serious. What is it this time?
That loony mother of yours. She's going to bankrupt this company if we don't do something about her.
My mother, my dear mother.
Oh, come on. Don't give me that, Alan. You and I both know that she's turning into a tycoon. A very dangerous tycoon.
Come on, Dad. I don't want to hear anything about Mother. You know exactly how I feel about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm very much aware of your spineless attitude about it.
Well, you call her whatever you like. If she's my mother, I love her, and I feel a great deal of compassion toward her.
And apparently none for your father.
Oh, give me a break and knock it off, will you? Your pastrami's getting cold.
In the way, it's already cold. Hold the calls. I'm eating.
Who is he?
Who?
Who? Your executive assistant.
Oh, my secretary. He's an extremely bright individual. I hired him myself. That's what really matters.
Oh? What was the matter with Nancy? I thought she was working out very well.
Well, she was great for your mother. She was a snooper, just like the rest of them. Laura Baldwin, Kathy Summers, Nancy. God, I had talking whispers around here.
I thought Laura was very trustworthy.
Laura is a woman, and like the rest of her gender, she could not be trusted.
Come on, you don't really believe all that.
Yeah, believe it. I'll swear to it. Women should never have been let out of the kitchen.
Good thing Gloria Steinem isn't here. She'd punch your headlights out. Come on, finish your lunch.
You think I'm joking? In case you haven't noticed it, young man, your mother has single-handedly destroyed ELQ.
What are you talking about? This organization is perfectly intact. I mean, what about Bolin Pharmaceuticals? I mean, that's a hell of an acquisition.
Okay. I admit that, well, that was a pretty good choice, but ye gods, the New York lawyers handled all that. All your mother had to do was open up her mouth and say yes when they told her to. Teach monkeys to do better than that.
You're disgusting. Have I ever told you that before? This organization is running very smoothly, and you know it.
Oh, you think so, do you?
Uh-huh.
I don't suppose you've noticed any change in the outer reception area or in here?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, of course, I wouldn't expect you to remember, but there used to be a rather large and full filing cabinet out there.
And now there isn't, right?
Oh, just a terrarium full of exotic plants.
I thought you liked plants.
Yeah, outdoors. And look at this. All my personal files, gone.
Well, maybe Mother had them put,
Where, in the record room? Oh, you take a look at that room, empty.
Dad, what are you saying?
I am saying that your dear, darling, precious mother had all the ELQ files burned.
Burned? Are you serious? Slow down, Dad, because you're really starting to confuse me.
Well, Alan, it all started yesterday. Now, I arrived at the office just in time to find all my files being carted away to the incinerator. They burned them all, every last scrap.
Well, why? What possible reason could she have for doing such a thing?
She's bonkers. That's her reason.
Did you ask her about it?
Well, Randall did.
What was her excuse?
Well, she just said they took up too much room. They're messy.
The ELQ files? That's preposterous.
Randall, will you get in here?
Yes, sir.
Will you tell me what happened yesterday, what my wife said?
Well, she spoke to the custodian, sir. My information comes from him.
Well, I don't care who the information came from. Now, will you please tell my son the reason his mother gave for burning all the files?
The custodian said that Mrs. Quartermain told him that she hated dust, that the filing cabinets did nothing but collect dust.
Dust? Yeah, dust. Can you believe it? Years and years of records up in smoke, all because she hates dust.
Perhaps, sir, she meant it in the British sense.
British sense? What are you talking about?
The British definition would include dust as meaning junk, anything worthless.
Oh, I never heard of anything so ridiculous in my life. Anyway, if I want a definition, I'll check out Webster myself. But this is Port Charles, not Oxford.
Of course, sir.
Okay, run along.
Yes, sir.
Memorize something. What the hell's that?
Sir?
Looks like power cables.
I've been informed they go with the boxes and crates brought in yesterday, sir. She's apparently redoing the empty records room.
With electrical cables?
Yes, sir.
Maybe she's opening a beauty parlor.
Alan, I'm telling you, the time has come to act. Now, look, I have a lawyer. He's already set to go. All I need are our two signatures to get power of attorney.
Seriously, Dad, you know how I feel about that.
Feelings have nothing whatever to do with this. This is business. Alan, this is your solemn duty to ELQ and to your father.
Oh, sorry I'm late, dear.
Hello. Don't worry about that. A cup of coffee?
Oh, that's a good idea.
What's this with the cane? What happened?
Oh, I just hurt my leg dashing around town on my errands. Not to worry.
There you go.
Thank you, Rose dear. You must have read my mind.
No, actually, your lips, you looked a little parched when you came in. I'll let you ladies work on that, and I'll be back to get your order.
Thank you, Rose.
Well, my dear, how has your day been going?
Oh, well, all right. I went to meet with the directors of the Bolin Pharmaceuticals, and they were very gracious, and I don't know, they seemed pleased to have me as a consultant.
Oh, I knew they would. You may not be a businesswoman yet, dear, but you're a fine doctor, and your expertise is going to do a lot for the company.
Well, I just hope you don't regret appointing me, that's all.
Regret? Oh, my darling. Appointing you to that position was the smartest decision I've made since taking over ELQ.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I just don't think Edward quite agrees, though.
Oh, Edward, oh, leave him to me. He's just jealous of my new power. He'll come around. I still have a few surprises up my sleeve.
I'll definitely leave him to you. After all, he's your husband.
Talking of husbands, dear, how are things going with you and Alan?
Well, I took your advice. I told Alan that he had to sue me for a divorce.
Good, good. And is he reacting correctly?
Correctly.
Well, by this time, he should be confused to the point of inactivity.
Well, he hasn't, as a matter of fact, he hasn't done a thing about it. That's what you mean.
No, I don't think he ever will, dear.
Well, Hyla, what about Susan Moore? I am sure she's coming down hard on him. I'm trying to force him to file.
On the contrary, I think that he'll interpret that as nagging, and it'll do his cause more harm than good. Mark my words, dear, this family will one day be back together again.
Huh? Okay. You really believe that, don't you?
Now, there's always hope, my dear. And once we women are in control, everything will run smoothly. I promise you. By the way, are you free this afternoon?
Well, I have the afternoon off. Why?
Well, I've been doing some marvelous things at the company, and I'd love you to come over and see them.
I'll tell you what, you're the one that's crazy. You're possibly thinking of having the woman put away for something so inconsequential?
Alan, who said anything about having her put away?
You're talking about contacting a lawyer.
To get power of attorney, that's all. We'll have her declared incompetent to make any judgment or business decisions.
Then what happens?
Well, then she can go back to the lifestyle she enjoys most. You know, playing bridge in Palm Beach, going to those art auctions with that loony Lutz lady. Gods, that's in itself is grounds enough for insanity.
I don't know, Dad. It really does seem very rash, truly.
Oh, Alan, will you please stop being so sensitive about things? I mean, that upsets my metabolism worse than that damn pastrami. Look, have you forgotten about those oil options? You remember how her dilly-dallying blew that deal? If you've been following the papers lately, you know how that's taken off.
Please, will you? You're going off on a tangent. That has nothing to do with present-day business.
It has everything to do with it. It's the whole future of ELQ. Okay, Alan, you may not care, but think about the future of your son. Your sons. Alan, are you with me or not?
Dad, I can't possibly do what you're suggesting. We'll have to think of some other way to help the situation, that's all.
Al, will you please be sensible? Will you please listen to what I'm saying?
I've listened and I've decided. It's out of the question. I am not having my mother declared incompetent. That's the end of it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go call the hospital.
One call is all it'll take, Alan. One call to John Kane and your mother is out of our hair.
Yes, but not our consciences.
Since when did you develop a conscience?
Since you came up with such a desperate plan, and that's what this plan is, sir, desperate.
Well, we're in a desperate situation. We can't wait any longer.
I have to think about it.
Think about it. Alan, you're not one to mull things over. You certainly didn't think about it when you moved out of the house. Why all this sudden consternation now?
Because we are talking about my mother.
Well, good Lord, it's not as if we're going to kill her. I just want to relieve her of her power.
In other words, steal it.
I prefer to call it a takeover. Okay, Alan. Maybe you don't do business this way around the hospital, but power struggles are an everyday occurrence in business.
I still have to think about it.
Think. Alan, it's not good for you. Now, look, take this situation, this relationship with Susan Moore. You certainly didn't think about that when you jumped in.
Do you mind leaving her out of this?
Oh, what's the matter? Trouble in paradise?
No, actually, the exact opposite. I happen to be taking up Monica on her suggestion, and I'm going to New York tomorrow to take her up on what she thought I should do.
File for a divorce?
I have no idea. Possibly, yes.
Boy, I'll bet that's Susan Moore's suggestion more than Monica's.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Mrs. Lila Quartermain and Dr. Monica Quartermain are here.
What? No trumpets?
Oh, who needs trumpets when you have such a handsome young secretary?
Thank you, Mrs. Quartermain.
That'll be all, Randall.
Yes, sir. Excuse me.
Now I understand what Mae West used to say about young men keeping her young. One look at that gorgeous young man is like a tonic.
Lila, don't you start chasing my secretary or you're in for deep trouble.
Oh, don't worry, darling. He's not my type, really. Besides, I never was a man chaser.
What about you, Monica?
I think you already know what kind of men I prefer.
Actually, it's unfortunate they don't prefer you.
Oh, come on. Will you two stop? Lila, what are you doing with a cane?
I just noticed it myself. I'm sorry. Are you all right?
Oh, yes, dear. Thank you. It's nothing really, darling. I just twisted my knee getting out of the car.
Probably from kicking Quartermains. Okay, come on. We've got business to discuss.
Oh, have you been doing something that I should know about?
No, but you sure as hell have been doing something that I demand to know about. Mainly burning my files. Files that are absolutely irreplaceable. Files that are essential to the smooth running of this corporation.
Oh, that. Oh, relax, darling, relax.
Relax? How can I relax, Lila, when you're throwing this company into utter chaos?
Mother, was it really the dust?
Dust. Oh, Alan, oh, Edward, you men, you really are so silly.
Lila, this is no laughing matter.
Oh, but your face, dear, you look so bewildered.
Infuriated, I think, is a better word.
You stay out of this, Monica.
Gladly.
Lila, I demand to know what's going on here. Now, I have a right to know.
Of course you do, dear, of course you do, and so you shall.
Excuse me, sir. These gentlemen insist on delivering these items to Mrs. Quartermain in person.
Those are our orders.
Over here, gentlemen, please. Right in this little room here, on the table. Thank you. Well, darling, now, what was it you were saying?
Lila, I want to know what's going on around here. What's with all this confounded electrical equipment? You installing your own electric chair?
If you'll calm down, dear, I'll tell you.
Better be ready for a big surprise.
Okay, I'm ready. Come on, Lila.
Well, dear, as you know, for years, Jack Lerner and the other advisors have been urging you to update this company's Port Charles offices and get rid of that dreadfully confusing filing system.
It was not that confusing. I understood it.
Well, exactly, my dear. That's exactly my point. You understood it, but what if something happened to you? Where would that leave us? Digging through all that dust.
There's your dust, Father.
Will you keep out of this, Alan? Go on, Lila.
Edward, I have brought this company, kicking and screaming, into the 20th century. At last. Over here. Voila!
Good Lord. Computers?
Not just any computer, sir. A CRT, a cathode ray terminal. At the mere press of a button, you can find all the information you'll ever need. May I presume, Mrs. Quartermain, that it is plugged into the offices in New York and Paris as well?
You may certainly presume, Randall, it is.
You have quite a prize on your hands, Mr. Quartermain.
Oh, yes, a booby prize. Well, what about my files? I mean, this contraption isn't going to work unless it has information plugged into it, is it?
Oh, it's all been taken care of, dear. Fed in properly, available whenever you need it. I had that poor little Nancy take care of the programming before you fired her.
Randall, when did you first get wind of this?
Moments ago, sir, when I checked the records room.
It's all wall-to-wall computers now. Edward, dear, have a seat.
Oh, you know I can't type, Lila.
Well, you two have to get to know each other, Randall.
Oh, stand back. Now, this is my damn computer, and I'm going to learn how to run it.
That's the spirit, Edward. You're never too old to learn, they say, I think.
I'll pretend I never heard that.
Well, my dear mother, I think that computerizing is a wonderful idea, and I'll never doubt you again.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
I never saw a typewriter keyboard like this in my life. What are all these extra keys for? Is there an owner's manual?
Oh, don't worry, dear. A lovely young man from the company will come by and tell you exactly how to use it. Oh, and one other thing.
Uh-oh. Now what?
They tell me it uses very little electricity, and also it collects very little nasty old dust.